Words of wisdom. May your ex-wife teach your next wife how to be amazing for you and all be good. Something like that, right, Tony? That's how it goes. I'll take it words of something, dude. Today's an amazing day. We're graced to be outside. Those of you that are watching, you're welcome. And those of you that are listening, you may hear some gusts of winds and everything else because we are gloriously sitting outside in lounge chairs next to a pool, which I'll say beats the living shit out of in a restaurant staring at a nice bottles of booze that we couldn't touch. You know what I mean? Right. It's the not touching part. Like if we drank them all, then maybe that's the win, dude. But right now, sitting next to the pool is a wonderful thing, dude. So welcome. I haven't seen you guys outside. The life is different. We talked about this in the last show that you guys saw with Dave Mao about being on the other side of the kitchen, dude, out of the frying pan and into the actual fire, bro.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, dude. Out of the fucking heat of the nonsense into the reality of other people's world, which I know nothing about, which is amazing.
Welcome to the jungle, brother.
Right on, dude. Well, as long as you don't yell at me like last time I saw Guns N' Roses when you say that, I'm okay. And sitting with me, man, is Mr. Bryon Freeze. Bryon Freeze, I've known for a little while, chef, food contraband connoisseur, no?
Yeah. Fair assessment.
You like that, dude?
Yeah,
I always like to come up with the new names for job titles. I think it's important. People are like, what do you? I'm like, I do talk shit 101 for a living or whatever it may be. I don't know.
I dig it. I'm gonna steal that one.
Food contraband connoisseur.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah?
I can't say it quickly. I'll stumble over it, but it sounds awesome.
Another shot of Remy Martin, and you can say whatever the fuck you want, bro.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. And Tony doesn't have a microphone today, but that's okay. It's all right, dude. He was in a hurry. He works like a slave nowadays. It's good. But you're still not growing hair, which will never happen. We'll always have that in common. Perfect, dude. Perfect. So, Bryon, man, these fine folks who listen to me, you've never been on here. We never talked about you, which I apologize about. But where'd you start, man? Tell these little people about what you do and where you're at, so we know who you are, my friend.
Should I start at the beginning? Or?
Well, if I have to hear about your mom and how she shaved and how you came out, I'm gonna be really pissed off about it. Let's start past that.
How about we take it back to when I was 15, got a fast food job, got the bite to work in the hospitality industry, the adrenaline rush, the creativity, got into food.
What fast food place, I have to ask?
Burger King, bro.
Burger King, dude. You're the only person I know that worked at McDonald's. Was rampant.
No, Burger King.
And you know what? And did you love it? Because McDonald's was one of my favorite jobs ever. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Well, you can have it your way, so you were actually making food to order.
Oh fuck! I had it my way at McDonald's, bro.
I wanted no mayo. I wanted no mayo. I wanted no ketchup, and it was fresher than
No, I had it every way. It was just in the walk-in was the real answer. No. So Burger King, did you like? So that's what nipped it, right?
No, we used to have races to see who could make the best Whopper Jr. to look the closest to the photo from the commercials, and then we gave a bunch to our friends in high school because we thought we were cool. Like, here's 7 Whopper Juniors in the football teams coming through the.
But number 4, but number 4 is the best.
Yeah, number 4 is the best, dude, for sure. But went through cooking in restaurants in high school, then went to culinary school, worked in restaurants in Maryland, then down in Virginia, went to Arizona, came out to LA, I should say Orange County. That's when I met you.
Right.
That was like 2010, and worked through some restaurants, won some awards, did the Food Network, did some James Beard, worked for Jean Georges, and then lost my mind. It was just brutal. 14 years. And you look up.
So it's crazy is everybody who talks about the craziness of being a chef, man. And I always talk about like the end goal, but and only somebody that's in the business will understand when you said, "Oh, I've been through X, Y, and Z, and then I lost my mind." A normal person has no idea what the hell that even entails. But the truth is, you really do get so wrapped up that you lose your brain. So what happened that you lost your brain, dude? How does that? I mean, because I can tell you exactly the minute I went, fuck it.
Oh, this is. Perfect. We talked about this earlier today.
We talked about it earlier today, but I mean, for you just said you just lost your mind. So people are listening. You're like, what does that mean?
I can remember this specific moment.
Right.
May of 2014, working 28 days straight, open and close at a James Beard restaurant, 66 seats. We're doing 180 to 200 covers a night, which doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people, but just put it to you this way: we're open 6 to 10, and I'm there from 9 till anywhere between.
Yeah, till done.
Noon or midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And, boss man came in one night. He was stressed out. I was stressed out. I missed something on a plate on Expo, and he didn't like what I did. And I own it now that it was a terrible call. But in the moment, you're hazy as fuck. You're delirious. You don't eat well. You don't sleep well. Partying too hard. And I just looked at him. I was like, if you don't like how I'm fucking doing it, find somebody else. And that was it. And I thought it was going to be, 6 months. I'm going to take a break, get my head right, maybe do some travel, go home, see my family. I'll try this food sales thing. And that was almost 5 years ago. So it's kind of worked out. And for me, I've found a niche in the industry where I could talk to chefs about cool ingredients and introduce them to cool products. And we got to do that today. You got to see that firsthand, where we're not really selling people.
I have nothing to sell. I talked about this, about being, whether or not it was a failure or not, was the last conversation I had with my buddy. I was like, it's so weird that I get on the other side of this battle and you think to yourself, did I fail as a chef? You're like, oh, or did I realize that maybe some of that I loved and hated or I didn't, or whatever the fucking case may be. But in the end, it's like, I'm still in the same job. I'm still educating people. I just don't have to put up with the riffraff and the bullshit and the agony, to be honest with you. But the passion for food is never going to leave my soul, I don't think.
Yeah, you never lose it. And it's chef / consultant / salesperson / distributor person, or food contraband connoisseur / catering.
That's amazing. That's an amazing deal, dude.
Yeah.
Contraband connoisseur is a real thing.
Well, when I first left the kitchen, though, I played that like, oh, I'm a failure, I didn't achieve my goals, and you get in your head, and then after you spend some time away from it, you realize that no, you'll always be a chef, and then you just add to that. Most people change careers commonly in this country all the time, so just add to that. Like I'm doing a podcast now, or I've done TV, or what's next? I work with a robotics company designing a robot dishwasher. So it's like the options are out there. You just don't see them when your head's down in the kitchen and the four walls and the fluorescent lights 14 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been asked several times in the last week, do you miss anything? And my answer is absolutely not. I would miss it if I had a robot dishwasher, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Now that you said that, if I had a robot dishwasher, there's a solid chance I'd be happier at work.
Yeah.
Just on the principle that I wouldn't have to deal with my dishwasher thinking it's going to be busy and not showing up, or something crazy like it's going on. But I don't miss anything, man.
Oh, you don't have to, because you can still do things related to food and have fun, and it still lights us up. We still get fired up to go do these fun things. But to be honest with you, man, I do these catering gigs now where sometimes I'll work a long day and do something for 18, 20 people at their house by myself, and I go source everything, prep it that day, and go cook at their homes out in Arizona where I'm based. And then the next 2 days I can't even get out of bed. And I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine how I did what I did for so long. It's just, you beat your body up standing.
Yeah, it used to be every day.
Every day. And I was like, how did I do that for so long?
That used to be my admin day, I think. That was wild, dude. It's just the truth. Like, what do you do? What do you do now? What do you do now?
Yeah. It's like I get to enjoy a lovely day outside in the afternoon in Southern California's sun, and the breezes kick in, and we're just talking about what it's like to get out of the kitchen. It's not hard to do. And a lot of chefs that were surprised that I made the move in 2014 are now calling. It's mind-blowing how many are reaching out in like Facebook Messenger, text messages, emails.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, bro.
Well, I was one of them. 100%.
Hey, bro. Yeah. And we talked about it, and I encouraged you to make that leap, because everybody should at some point. I mean, who wants to spend every day trying to feed people only to get like ripped apart on Twitter or Yelp, or there's so many moving parts to what we did. We're orchestrating chaos every day, and they don't get that because it's all glamorized from Food Network, and it seems really cool and easy because of the TV shows and all that. This is a grind, man. It's a labor of love, and you can find ways to take that skill set. And honestly, let's be real for a second. Chefs can orchestrate chaos. We can do whatever we want. There's nothing.
I had somebody talk to me the other day, but they were like, oh, they were talking about running events, running this and that, and their biggest event. And I was like, look, man, I don't know. I've done some pretty big events. I used to do like 5,000 to 6,000 people in 2 to 3 hours at the Sheriff's Barbecue. We do it all, barbecue, burgers, whatever, 7 different booths. 3 hours was the whole event, but I have to feed everybody in the first hour and then stay open. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, try putting 6,000 people by yourself. No prep, no nothing. You have a crew of people that show up that morning, go through it. I go, dude, that's a normal, like, if I can do that, I have a really fucking hard time believing that there isn't something that I can't cross.
It's much easier for culinary people to overcome obstacles in life than people from other walks of life, because we've seen chaos. I've had a dishwasher arrested mid-service on a Saturday night. We're like, no, please, can you at least let him finish his shift and then take him?
Officer, I will pay you if you stay and hang on. You can eat whatever you want. Just don't take my dishwasher right now, please, God.
And then you've got somebody on the other side like, I can't believe how bad my meal was. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I totally called the cops on my dishwasher so that I could be washing dishes, not watching food go out, so it could be like slightly lukewarm.
Yeah.
Sorry for your terrible experience. You know we really care about what we do. So
here's your Yelp ID.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life, dude.
I would say
just remember I respond to that shit.
I would say that I'd say the stress level has definitely gone down.
Right.
And you said to me, was it yesterday or today, that you see your daughter more in the last few months, and you have
my actual daughter, who's 8-year-old, looked me straight in the eye, like dead serious like that. I want to tell you, like I would do to like a mentor, like grab me by the shoulder and said, Dad, I've seen you more in the last month than I've seen you my whole life. And she wasn't being mean. She just was like, and she was awestruck about it and happy. And I thought to myself, well, shit, I can never go back. This is it, right? Like whether I do something else or whatever the next thing may be, I'm never going to go back to not seeing my kid again.
Yeah.
I mean, I already knew that was a thing. I was doing the math. I'm like, fuck, I'm seeing her like 11 or 12 hours a week out of a week, but I always fought to have my daughter. And yet here I was fighting to have her. Really what I was fighting is to have her when I could in the time that I could. Now I actually have her and have time. And like, she's a different person, which makes me a different person.
It's awesome.
Right? Like I've spent, and out of the 10 hours or 11 hours or 15 hours I saw her before, I was spending half of that disciplining her because she was picking habits from other people up because he wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually hanging out with my daughter because she's like, oh, Dad's always here. I don't need his attention. So now I've actually get to see my daughter like for her.
Yeah.
And instead of disciplining my daughter in the time I had for the things she did when I wasn't around.
That's so rad that you've got that worked out now.
Bro,
it's so much more important. We get programmed as line cooks to work, come in on your day off. Somebody called out sick, fill in. That was what I did. I wanted to move up as quickly as possible. I was getting sous chef jobs when I was 19. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was the guy that they could always rely on.
Right.
But I sacrificed everything else, right? And you did too. And now you're like, wait a second. This is way more important to have this relationship with my daughter than to worry about, the 200 people I got to cook for. We still love cooking. We just do it on our own terms now. We're the authors. We're not being pushed around by an owner or crazy guests or, missing trucks or people calling out. Yeah.
Yeah. I just won't ever do it again.
Yeah.
I won't ever do it. There are some people that I envy that are doing amazing things. I think Zach that we saw that's been on the show numerous times.
Sure.
You just met today, who's like got the #1 chef in Orange County right now. And he's doing pretty much preset on one side. And even he's talked about, that the sacrifice he makes with having to do his other restaurant. So he has to do a full banquet facility, his other restaurant, in order to do what he wants. Luckily, he doesn't have a kid yet. He's newly married. His wife is also a pastry chef. But even now you look at him and I go, what's your plan? He's like, to one day not work like this. I'm like, exactly, man. Like that's the end goal. And I don't think that a lot of, I think that that's a new thing for our community.
Yes.
Is that most chefs want to be like, well, no, I want to own a bunch of restaurants, whatever. It's like, well, that's cool if that's you. But that's like saying you want to play in the NFL or you want to be an NBA star, which could happen. Don't get me wrong. But those people are making more money or X, Y, and Z than somebody else. Food Network made them.
Yeah.
And in the end goal, they're still not seeing their kid.
Yeah. Or divorced multiple times, drama, or
drown at the end of a bottle, dude.
Yeah.
Which we've all done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Many times.
Yeah. And drown at the end of whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't miss any of that. It was, we took years off the end of our life. It's time to try to stop that now.
That's funny you mentioned that. I told somebody one day, I said, somebody said, back when I used to party a lot, I said, that takes the ends off the years of your life. I said, well, that's the ones in diapers anyway. I don't want those, dude. You can have those shitty years.
Yeah, very true. I don't want to be 75 in a wheelchair.
No, I'd rather be 65 and walking and kill over straight out.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
I'll miss the Alzheimer's diaper session.
Yeah, for sure.
Mostly for my daughter's sake at this point. I make her suffer for 8 years, then she has to wipe my ass for the last 8.
Well, and let's not even forget, you're an animal, man. We're doing a podcast, and your wife could have your child at any moment.
Yeah, yesterday.
Awesome. Yesterday, yeah. Like, what's going on? She's out walking 2 miles right now.
And the coolest thing is I called her yesterday, actually standing at your booth yesterday at the food show, and I said, honey, how are you? She said, well, I think I lost my mucus plug. Like, it's okay. I'm good. You have a good day. I'm like, you are the calmest pregnant lady on the planet.
Such a badass, man.
Dude, you can just
such a badass.
She would like call me and be like, I'm in labor. Just get here when you can. Wow. Holy mackerel, am I lucky.
And now you get to do that, though. You're not stuck at a restaurant.
Oh, 200%.
I can remember 2 chefs in my career, we had to chase them out the night their child was being born. Like, no, you need to go. No, let me finish this table. Let me pick up. Like, no. Get the fuck out of here. Go to the hospital and be there.
And that would probably have been me. That was me, my first kid. My first kid, I was like, no, man. And we were mostly doing catering. And I was like up all night, up all day. I was taking 3 weddings on Saturday, 4 weddings on Sunday, 2 of them by myself, 2 church weddings that were 1 that I really liked to do, 2 lemon chickens.
Wow.
and mostly prepping all out of like a warehouse in Ontario with 1 trailer, 3 drop-offs. And it was just trying to make it work. And just trying to get business to make it happen.
Yeah.
And literally I missed, I went on tour for 6 months out of the year doing Stagecoach, Coachella's, Bonnaroo's, South by Southwest. And I thought, this is it, man. I make great cash and whatever it is. And I got tired of that too, man. I just woke up one day and I was in the middle of the desert at Stagecoach, which everybody knows that listens to this show, that country. I hold that next to the worst thing on the planet, I'd rather sit in a trash dump than listen to country all day. Sorry, you can hate me, write about it on Yelp. It's okay. That's just my thing. And I'm from Texas, so I get it. And I was raised by people who played in a country band. I know all the songs. Yes, I know who George Strait is. However, I don't like country music. I think that it's like not okay with me.
I'm with you, brother.
Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Those of you into it and like to drink out of red Solo cups, happy to you.
Long family road trips.
I'll plug my ears and watch you dance naked. I'm cool, but not my thing.
Long road trips from Maryland to the Carolinas.
And I was in the,
listening to Dolly Parton on cassette tape in the back of the parents' cars.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm good.
Yep. I was raised by hippies, man. We don't do that.
I'm good.
And so I was in the middle of Stagecoach, and there's all these people walking around drinking Bud Lights and Coors Lights and whatever they were doing, and people walking up the booth and like getting mad at me. And we're in the middle of the desert for 3 weeks, and I just did Coachella for two weeks before that, and came back from the East Coast. So I was on like a month tour, and this chick's yelling at me over a chicken burrito. I'll never forget it. And I looked right at her. And I took the burrito. She goes, I'm going to call your boss. I said, cool. I got the burrito and I threw it on the floor. She's like, can I? And I said, I gave her money back for her burrito because I didn't care what her opinion was. And I didn't even hear her. And then she's like, can I have a napkin? I'm like, the napkin's $100. She's like, why? I'm like, because I just had to listen to your shit over a chicken burrito. So if you want a napkin, it's $100. So, and at that point, I went, I'm never coming back here again. And I just went, I sold everything for it and went, I'll do another facet. And that's when I went into doing restaurants full-time, not just consulting.
Yeah.
And then now we're at the end of that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how that was the defining moment, that chicken burrito.
Well,
where I went, nope, I'm out, man.
We all have that moment we'll remember, and it kind of drives us onto the next step of what we want to accomplish. And honestly, just listening to you talk about those events made me exhausted.
Oh, bro.
Real, bro. How,
we
like, that's
were
silly.
doing, yeah, and I built up to it. Like I put myself through hell to figure out how to run 4 booths, 3 of them 24 hours a day, 2 different genres, all out of a commissary kitchen. I had anywhere between 75 to 110 employees at any given time. When we were out of state, they were all Craigslist cash employees, which you could do back then. Nowadays, you can't, or at least in California, no way. But back then, you were like, here's your per diem, and you can see the show. And don't come too fucked up when you work, right? A little's okay, but too much, don't do it. And we toured with that, and I had a girl that just worked with me that did employees. I had check-in, check-outs. We had like tent checks every hour and a half or 2 hours. And I did that for 4 months out of the year with a month set up and a month back. So 6 months out of the year I was gone. And the other 6 months I came back and just consulted for basically whatever I could get, because what's funny is I was known at first as this like, oh, you're the chef that jumps around.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that would be cool if you ever noticed I'm only there for 6 months. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the other 6 months I'm gone.
Yeah.
So I just go and help when I can.
Always have something going on.
And because
guys.
my face is on the cover of whatever, because I was there, I didn't even do anything. I was there. Now I was the consulting chef for a long time, like the chef that just always left places, which inevitably came true. I always just lose places. I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm tired, right? What do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, 2 months, is it 2 months now doing sales? How long have you been doing sales now?
I've only been out in the field for like 3 weeks
3 weeks
now.
What do you think so far?
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, my shoulders, I feel like my neck is about an inch taller than it was because my shoulders dropped. Where it used to be my pants dropped, I think is what it was, but my shoulders dropped. And to be honest with you, man, I've spent more time actually talking about food and learning things. And I think I've learned more in the last 2 months than I did in the last 2 years of cooking.
Yeah.
You know, I've been exposed to more and around more people that have more of interest and more people that are willing to take risks. I think product people are more willing to take risks than most chefs, and chefs are guessing. Yeah. Product people are like a scientific value, I think.
Yeah.
Or not, I think. I've seen, hands down. They're like, no, this is the percentage you need to do X, Y, and Z for longevity for this, and this is the all natural, and this is what this is. And there's more facts in products than there are in kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think my knowledge base right now, and not even knowing anything, don't get me wrong, is extremely bigger.
I mean, as a chef, I thought I knew a lot about food. And then, and then I left the kitchen, and I got humbled real fast. And it's just been a learning experience where I'm learning more in the last 4 or 5 years than I was doing the 14 years as a chef, as a culinary, cook or whatever you want to call it.
And the best part is I even have people now, they're like, oh, you still talk about food. Even yesterday at the show, I had one of my clients, it's like, hey, you talk about food so passionately, like, you're going to get into a concept one day. And I'm like, probably not.
Yeah.
They're like, why? I'm like, because what I'm talking about is about the way the products are done. You can use them however you want.
Yeah.
I did not talk one thing about my passion about you using the product.
We're just excited to help you find it.
I just exposed you to it, and I know it's cool. I'm going to take it home and eat it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I have no will to put that into a restaurant right now.
Yeah. No, never again.
It's my help to help you put it into whatever you want, man. Whatever you want to do with it, you go for it.
Yeah.
And that's that's a very beginner opinion right now. I'm still new to the game. I have a lot of hiccups, I'm sure, to go. and a lot to learn. But I can tell you so far that it's really nice being the guy. It's not my responsibility to be the end product.
Yeah.
Being the end product is what I've been for so long.
Yeah. It's fascinating to move up the supply chain, see where it came from, learn about Hudson Valley or Fermani or Watt Imports or Laura Chanel, which we have today, and just see the process and learn about it and see how excited the manufacturers or the importers get about the product and learn the whole story behind it and get humbled to like, wow, this is way bigger than just a chef putting it on a plate or a consumer putting it in their belly.
Yeah, I thought about the other day, my daughter walked by, she said, M&M's are my favorite. And I said, why? Because I love M&M's. I said, where do you find M&M's? She's like, everywhere. And I was like, that's so cool because it only comes from one place.
Yeah.
And she like looked at me funny, and I was like, no, absolutely. You're not, listen to what I'm saying. Those M&Ms, even though you got them everywhere, they come from one spot.
One spot.
Have you ever asked about what it is? So when we got home later, and I just had a bypass, you could tell that her brain was like, what do you mean one spot? They're everywhere, right? So later she's like, what were you saying? And I said, look, let's check it out. And I go there, and, we look it up, and I showed her where like Hershey, she was eating a Hershey at the time. And then she's talking M&M's, I said, look, Hershey, Pennsylvania. Like, look at this is the whole town is based, the culture. And her little brain was like, wow. And I said, that's kind of my new gig.
Yeah.
Is not to be the everywhere you get it from. It's to be the place it comes from or the middleman to where it goes.
Yeah.
And so it's where you decide where you get it from. And I was like, that's kind of I don't think anybody thinks about that. Like,
no, we
get it at the grocery store. I'm like, yeah, but every grocery store has an X.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the X factor?
We're so spoiled to see it just sitting there waiting for us to pick it up, pay for it, take it home, eat it, or go to the restaurant, order it, eat it. We don't think about the moving parts and how many hands it's passed through and how many people have like labor of love over this or mass produced it or artisanally made it. And it's fascinating to see people's stories and hear about the process.
Justin said a cool thing. I give him on the props. We talked about the foie gras show. He was like, hey, we sell stories and food, right? I believe is what it was, his big thing.
Yeah.
And I gave him shit at first, but I think that's the truth. I think you sell, I think in general, it's who you are and what the product is and what the story is that sells a lot. And I always knew that. I mean, obviously in my last couple concepts, the beef was like, I knew everything about it.
Yeah.
I can tell you everything about every steak I've sold in the last year and a half, period. And no bullshit. I was like, this is where it's dry aged. That's why. And then when you ate it, you went, holy.
Yeah.
You weren't joking.
You taste the difference.
Yeah.
Especially dry age. You could taste like the feed they were fed when you dry age because you're concentrating that flavor of whatever they were eating.
Oh, man. Well, Tony knows. I introduced Tony to the 120 day, which I don't think you had to try.
Oof.
But we did. I did a regular 120 day dry aged ribeye over there. And I'll tell you right now, there's nothing. I mean, I can try 45, 50, 80, 90, and I'm like, this is cool. But a perfectly aged 6-month, 7-month, 8-month steak, your balls suck into your throat.
Yeah.
there's a certain level of salvation and umptious to it that there's nothing you can't even you can't describe it, man.
Your knees tingle, your nipples get hard.
Yeah.
You're like kind of like, oh man. Yeah, it's still amazing.
And that's you tell that's a story and then a proof and then an end proof and then and some people go, that's gross. So well, that's cool. It's still the story and the truth.
Yeah. You want to go be vegan? That's fine. But I'm gonna eat my 120 aged whatever,
You said the only dirty word on being a vegan. All right, well with that being said, with you bringing up dirty, shitty talk like veganism, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Peace.